Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In continuation of my series on planets, today I'm going to talk about a planet which is often referred as the dragon head or the face of the snake. It is also referred to as atmosphere, as people under the influence of this planet always want to go up due to its materialistic nature. You may have guessed it right. Yes, today I'm going to talk about the mysterious Rahu. Rahu is sometimes visible only during the times of eclipses, solar or lunar eclipses, with those rings around itself. And it is a very, very powerful planet and a very important planet in Vedic astrology. There are a lot of representations of Rahu. Few of the representations I am going to talk about in the introduction itself. Rahu represents illusion, that is Maya. It is just like magic. It is anything which is artificial, your software, your digital. It is all your future karmas, unexpected and sudden gains and results. It also represents outlaw, outcast, and shortcuts. It represents thieves. Why thieves? Because they want to get richer just by the night. Shortcut. Glamour and fame. Psychopaths. Sudden rise. A drug addict. Alcoholic. A chain smoker. Sunglasses. Aerospace. Astronauts. Women with loose character. Prostitution. Ghosts. Snake catchers. Viruses. Insects. Poison. Smallpox. Cancer. Because cancer also multiplies manifolds, something which multiplies limitlessly, because this planet doesn't have the head, so it has no limit. Imagine a body without the head, it has no limit. So that's why cancer also comes as a representation of Rahu. And lastly, bomb explosions or bomb blasts. All these are the representations of Rahu in your Vedic astrology. Now let us talk about the nakshatras. Rahu activates the nakshatras of Arad, Swati, and Satvishak. The Rahu's direction in universe is southwest, and when we talk about Vastu at your home, even the southwest corner in the zone also belongs to Rahu. It resides in the southwest corner of your house or flat, and hence I always advise that after the sunset, you must definitely light a yellow bulb or a yellow chart paper or a yellow wallpaper in the southwest corner of your flat or house, because yellow is the color of Jupiter, and the only planet which Rahu is afraid of is Jupiter, because Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system because of its magnitude and size. Rahu Mahadasha, in one's chart, it lasts for 18 years, and Rahu's Antardasha lasts for 2 years, 4 months, and approximately 19 days. Rahu's friends in Vedic astrology are Saturn, Venus, and Mercury. So whenever one is running a Rahu Mahadasha, whenever he will face the Antardasha of Saturn, Mercury, and Venus, he will definitely experience a good time, unless these planets are debilitated in your chart or their Nichka or their degrees is not very strong. Let us talk about Rahu in different houses of one's horoscope. Generally, Rahu gives the best results in the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 11th house of your horoscope, but the results in 2nd and 8th house are not very auspicious. We will discuss one by one in detail as follows. Rahu in the 1st house. If Rahu is sitting in the 1st house, you have to be very careful from this person. जो वो दिखते हैं वो होते नहीं हैं, और जो वो होते हैं वो दिखते नहीं हैं. These people are extremely cunning, clever, and selfish. What in Hindi we call as bhediya, wolf. These people are the real wolf. And this person's character and personality will be totally different from what he's portraying to the world. Such people or such ascendants may use other people only to their advantage, and they may befool people only to their interest. Hence, one must be very careful in dealing with people whose Rahu is in the 1st house. They will look very, they will sound very intelligent, and you will feel, oh my God, he's such an intelligent guy and he's such a helpful guy, but actually they are there to rob you. It also brings high desire in this person to reach the peak of success, but eventually, in that process of reaching the success in the top, he exhausts his health and he is a victim of poor health. Such people may also settle in foreign land or may get revenue from foreign land. Partnerships and marriages may not work smoothly because if Rahu is sitting in your Lagna, it's seventh drishti, it's falling in your house of marriage and partnership. So, Rahu in Lagna, such people, we suggest do not get into any kind of business partnerships. And even as far as marriage is concerned, the horoscopes must be matched before saying yes for any kind of association. Such people use modern technology in their professions and in their careers, and they're very successful. Rahu in the first house may also give you a permanent mark on your face. Let us come to Rahu in the second house. What is second house? Second house denotes your family wealth, your accumulated wealth, your bank balance, your harmony in family, your peace in family, family life. Rahu in second house is not at all auspicious. In most of the horoscopes I've seen in last couple of years, I have never found a happy person whose Rahu is sitting in the second house. This person will struggle for wealth because second house is also the dhan sthan, the wealth sthan, and it may not bring peace and harmony from his immediate family. There will be difference in opinions between his own wife, children, father, mother. So his family life will be totally, it will be in a stage of confusion, disagreement, arguments, etc. But Rahu in second house may make him multilingual. He may speak number of languages. His speech may be a little harsh because second house is also considered to be the house of speech and communication. And their food habits may be indisciplined, which will adversely affect their health. Now let us come to Rahu in the third house. What does third house indicate? Third house is the Parakram Sthan, that is the house of courage. It is also the house of your younger siblings. It is also the house of your neighbors, your neighborhood. If Rahu is placed in the third house, you might be the youngest in the family. And third house Rahu gives very good results related to your courage, speech, and communication. Even third house represents publishing of books, printing. So third house Rahu gives, a very good fortune in publishing. And such people also leverage technology in their communication. Here, Rahu motivates you to be more communicative, to be more talkative. But Rahu in this house may give strained relationships, especially with younger brothers and sisters. Let's move on to the Rahu in the fourth house. What is fourth house? Fourth house represents your inner happiness, Sukh, Aram, Ashwarya, your mother, your car, your property, your wealth. Uh, Rahu in the fourth house may give bad health to your mother. And before commenting on the bad health of your mother, one must look the placement of moon. Although fourth house represents the house of mother, but your mother is also represented by moon. So if moon is sitting in 6th, 8th, or 12th, or it's debilitated, or there is a Kemadrum Yog in your Kundli, then definitely problem with mother, early demise of mother. I have seen many horoscopes where the Rahu is sitting in the fourth house and moon is in the 6th, 8th, or 12th. He or she has lost mother at a very young age. Uh, so one has to see the placement of the moon, and one also has to see the relationship with mother. It may give difference in opinion with your mother. A good Rahu in the fourth house will give you all the materialistic pleasures and comforts. You'll have servants, you will have cars, large house, beautiful house, everything which gives you comfort, air conditioners, everything. But in this process of making your worldly money and worldly wealth and ensuring that the buck should reach the bank, you will lose your contact with your mother and you will be devoid of her blessings, which I personally feel is a big loss because mother is mother and there is no substitute of mother. So Rahu in fourth house may bless you with all the worldly pleasures, but it may devoid of your mother's blessings or your mother's companionship, or you may be working somewhere else and she may be into your hometown and you will not be able to see her for many years. Let's move to Rahu in fifth house. What does fifth house represent? Fifth house represents our ancestors. It represents our relationship, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, education, your digestive system, your generosity, publications, mantra tantra, the capacity to perform pujas, havans, and also temporary shelter. People born with Rahu in the fifth house normally resemble their grandparents in their habits and qualities. Here, Rahu encourages you to be productive and creative and gives you deep insight of any subject. Hence, people with Rahu in their fifth house may be associated with theater, film industry, or any technical field related to film industry, because such people have very creative minds. So all these creative directors in all your web series, all your films, maybe their Rahu is in the fifth house. The ability to do religious ceremonies and perform pujas is also the blessing of Rahu in the fifth house. Such people are blessed with the blessings of Ma Durga, and Rahu in fifth house makes a person surrender to God, spirituality, occult sciences. Strong Rahu in fifth house makes this ascendant maintain extraordinary and excellent interpersonal relationships with his colleagues, relatives, and friends. He is very good at maintaining relationship. Rahu in the fifth house, normally such person will never forget your birthday, your marriage anniversary. He'll be the first one to call you in the morning and wish you your birthday, your anniversary. So Rahu in fifth house that way blesses you with a great interpersonal relationship. This house also resembles past life good deeds, sudden gains like lottery, gambling, even change in religion, tantra and mantra. Now, some of the very famous personalities with Rahu in their fifth house are A.R. Rahman, who is also referred to as Mozart of Chennai. A.R. Rahman was actually born in a Hindu family, but later on he converted to Islam. Rahu in his fifth house. Another great example is Mughal Emperor Akbar, who also had Rahu in his fifth house. And if you recall history, he was one Mughal emperor who was very kind to Hindus and Muslims. His darbar was open for 24 hours and he treated both of them equally. Let's move to Rahu in the sixth house. Sixth house. What is sixth house? Rog, Rin, Shatru. Bad health, bad enemies, bad debts. Normally, if you have Rahu in sixth house, you will always be able to defeat your enemies. Rahu in sixth house is supposed to be auspicious. By the way, sixth house also represents your prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma? A collection of your past karma which is ready to be experienced by your present body, also called as incarnation. So, fifth house also uh, represents office affairs, office disputes, scandals, litigations, a sexual desire towards office colleague. That also is indicated by Rahu in sixth house. Prarabdha karma. So, what is prarabdha karma? Basically, it is the accumulation of all your karmas of the past life. And Rahu in sixth house is here is teaching you a lesson. It is maybe punishing you, but it is one way very good because it is just like taking a COVID-19 vaccination and then you are okay, that okay, I'm fine now. So, till the time that vaccination is given to you, that fear is there in your mind. Oh my God, prarabdha karma, what is going to happen? But once that vaccination is given to you, you are absolutely free and you feel better. You feel better. Remember that kadha, what our grandmothers used to give us or our mothers used to give us during our cold and cough, which used to taste utterly awful. It had ginger, it had lemon, it had honey, it had karela, whatnot, all spices. But it used to cleanse your throat in the winters. For that split second, it used to taste like poison. But after having it, it used to give great relief to your chest. So that is prarabdha karma, and you should be always ready to face it. And good if you face the prarabdha karma in the younger part of your life. Uh, Rahu in the sixth house. As I said, it will defeat. You will be able to defeat your enemies. Yes, one thing I forgot to say about Rahu in the sixth house was that parents of children who have Rahu in the sixth house must be very watchful about their company. They should see to it that they should not get into drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, especially if Rahu is sitting in the sixth house. They should be very watchful of it. Let's go to the seventh house. Rahu in the seventh house. So, what does seventh house say? Seventh house represents your marriage, your partnership, marriage through legal means, marriage through illegal means, marriage outside your community, marriage outside the boundaries of the society, marriage based on only intellectual interest, a contract marriage, marriage only on the paper, live in relationship, romance, love, sex, conjugal life, extramarital affairs. Uh, these are the representations of the seventh house, and of course, business partnership also. Uh, Rahu in seventh house, such people are excellent team players, excellent people management skills they have. And it is often seen that seventh house Rahu, because it also indicates business, he becomes a very successful businessman, Rahu in seventh house. But of course, the position of Venus and Mercury should also be seen because Mercury also represents business. Famous personalities with a Rahu in their seventh house is our living legend, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, uh, famous Italian designer Giorgio Armani, who was actually a dropout and he's a gay, but uh, he came on his own, set up his own company, and he has made a name for himself. Yeah, so basically, he broke that taboo. I mean, he's an elderly guy and a very successful guy. I don't need to tell about his brand and very aspirational brand. And another example is Queen Elizabeth got married at a very young age and still is going very strong. God give her long life. She's already 92. Her exceptional love for animals and exceptional love for the people of England. Needless to say, a lot can be spoken about her. So all these people, all these famous personalities have Rahu in the seventh house. Let's move to Rahu in the eighth house. As I said at the start of this video, second and eighth house Rahu is not very auspicious. What does eighth house represent? Eighth house represent demise, destruction, the end. Uh, it also represents your occult sciences, research, and relationship with your in-laws. Rahu in the eighth house gives a sudden and a bad accident. People I've seen Rahu in eighth house will definitely give you an accident. So you have to be very watchful in your Rahu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha. If you're running a Rahu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha, stop driving at least on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Or a date which falls on 8th, like 26th, 17th, 8th. Don't drive on Saturdays and Tuesdays. You will definitely bound to meet an accident. Rahu in the 8th house. Another very interesting thing, if Rahu is in the 8th house and if you're going in a rally, Zindabad, Zindabad, the chances of you getting up beaten by the police are very high. You will realize that you are one of those front people and full mala and garland and you're leading that group rally and then suddenly you turn back and find that, oh my god, that janta behind you has suddenly left you in the front and the police lathi, you will be the first person to get that police lathi. Rahu in the 8th house does that. You might get beaten up in a riot. Rahu in the 8th house. So don't show your chivalry in a large group or anything like that. You might be get slaughtered or beaten up like anything. Rahu in 8th house does that. Rahu in 8th house may also give you a sexually transmitted disease like HIV. Such people with Rahu in 8th house may be a victim of notoriety or slander in love affairs. Pyar mein badnami. But if Saturn in your Kundli is not placed in 6th, 8th, and 12th house, then it will reduce the ill and the evil effects of Rahu. Rahu in 8th house may also arise a situation of you picking up a fight on the street and getting beaten up or getting into a heated argument or whatever. Uh, Normally, the character of people of Rahu in 8th house, they may be dacoits, murderers, rapists, druggists, highly alcoholic, robbers, thieves, criminals, hardcore criminals. Rahu in the 8th house. Be watchful of such people. Let's move to Rahu in the ninth house. Ninth house, your fortune, your luck, your father, your good deeds, religion, ethics, very ethical house. House of long travels, foreign travels, pilgrimage. Rahu here wants you to be a privileged guru and show you the path of spirituality. Such people become spiritual leaders in public life. Rahu here wants to set up a new way of life or set up new rules for you. Very good example of this, Adolf Hitler. He wanted to set up his own regime, his own empire, he wanted to influence the world with his thoughts. Nazis killed 9 million Jews and just put them in, you know, concentration camps. So Rahu in ninth house, Adolf Hitler had now Rahu in the ninth house, and Rahu from ninth house looks at your lagna because Rahu from wherever it sits, it looks at the fifth, seventh, and the ninth house. So ninth house, when it looks at the lagna, it may even force people to change their religion, break the law of the land, and such people always dominate their siblings. You know, ऐसा मत करो, वो मत खाओ, यहाँ मत बैठो, उधर मत बैठो, जल्दी सो जाओ, जल्दी उठ जाओ, exercise करो. They have a lot of control on their siblings. Rahu in the ninth house. Let's move, ladies and gentlemen, to Rahu in the 10th house. The 10th house represents, what does it represent? Career, work environment, name, fame, public life of that ascendant. So 10th house is a Kendra Bhav, just like 1st, 4th, 7th, but it's a very strong Kendra Bhav. Excellent, very strong. Rahu in 10th house gives a heightened self respect and take a lot of pride in their professional achievement. Such people also may be egoist or they may be even living in their false pride. They are very proud of their professional achievements, and this may be the reason of some kind of undercurrents with your immediate boss, with your immediate superiors, if Rahu is sitting in the 10th house. If it's sitting in its friendly Rashi like a Kumbh Rashi, it may diminish the effect. But yet, being a malefic planet in a good house, that is 10th house, it will definitely create problems at your work environment, at your office. You will definitely going to have difference in opinion with your boss, difference in opinion with your colleagues. It will not give you peace of mind at your workplace. Rahu in ninth house may take you to foreign lands, especially in search of truth and spirituality. Um, and ninth house I already spoke. So yes, Rahu in the 10th house also makes you a top politician, a criminal lawyer, or a investigative journalist. In such cases, fathers of such people may also have very high self-esteem, ego, pride. So this is about Rahu in the 10th house. Let's move to Rahu in the 11th house. Rahu in 11th house is excellent. Why excellent? Because Rahu here is sitting in the Ekadash Bhav, the house of income, the house of profit, the house of gains. And 11th house also represents elder brothers. It also represents your network circle, your influence in the society. Rahu here gives you enormous wealth. Enormous wealth if Rahu is sitting. Rahu may also give you wealth through wrong and illegal means if Rahu is sitting in your 11th house. You may get income through donations, charities also. Osho Rajneesh, Bhagwan Osho Rajneesh had Rahu in his 11th house, and he largely got millions and millions of dollars donations from across the world, where he set up his empire at Oregon. And there was a time when he wanted to buy one state in the United States. He wanted to buy one island in the United States, and the world knows that he had 99 pieces of Rolls Royce, and very wealthy man, spiritual leader. Again, his own thought, his own cult, very different from the rest of the world. So Rahu here wants to have a large social circle and wants you to attend all the late night parties. Rahu in 11th house gives you a lot of wealth after marriage as it aspects through its 9th drishti, the 7th house of marriage and partnership. Rahu also gives here money through speculative business, casino, you know, gambling, etc. Rahu, if it is in conjunction with Jupiter in any of these houses, what I've spoken about, will make a Guru Chandal Yoga. Guru Chandal Yoga means, Guru means Jupiter, Chandal is a person who works in Shamshan Ghat. So what does the combination do? It makes a person fall from the grace. Suddenly, you were the CEO of a company doing very well, and you left, you lost your job for some reasons. Then you started your own business, but in the process of your own entrepreneurship, you have to go through that grind, picking up things yourself, loading things in the truck. It will make you fall from the grace, and such people. I've seen such yokes in many politicians' horoscopes, and many of them have gone to jail also due to Guru Chandal Yoga. Lastly, we come to Rahu in the 12th house. This house represents spirituality, moksha, imprisonment, revenue from foreign land, visit to foreign land, bed pleasures, subconscious mind, mysteries, hospital, isolations, asylums, export and import business, international trade, losses, expenses, financial losses, mental losses, donations, charity, links with international land, foreign land. Rahu here also connects with people who are staying in foreign lands. In doing so, such people become independent and they don't want their mother's nourishment as they are away from their native land. So, Rahu in 12th house may take an ascendant away from his birthplace and he may be devoid of his mother's happiness. Such people with Rahu in 12th house, what kind of professions they follow? They may be criminals, they may be jailers, they may be jail superintendents, lab scientists, nuclear scientists, novelists, writers, film directors, because they are behind the scenes and they sometimes work in isolation. Such people may also become healers, doctors, or even saints, saintly figures. Rahu in 12th house may make the native settle permanently in foreign land. Uh, Rahu in 12th house with its seventh drishti will aspect the sixth house of Rogrin and Shatru and it will destroy it. Rahu also aspects the eighth house of occult sciences, mysticism, tantra mantra, fortune teller. Hence, he may get into these professions. Rahu here gives sudden changes in his temper. To be a good, knowledgeable person in occult sciences or an astrologer, I personally feel that even moon in eighth house helps you a lot. But to be a good astrologer, even your speech and communication has to be fluent, which can only come if Sun and Mercury are together, Budhaitu Yoga. Especially if they are in third house or 10th house, they might give you a career in such occult sciences. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was my analysis on the great, limitless, and mysterious planet Rahu. Not a planet, but a shadow planet. If you have liked this video, please do watch, subscribe, press the bell icon, share this as much as possible. And in case you need any kind of personal consultation on your horoscope regarding your relationship, regarding your marriage, career, anything, I'll be more than happy to help you. Till we meet again, thank you very much for watching this. And in case you want to get connected to me, please do call me at 9742 881188. Thank you very much and have a great evening ahead.